Hi, I'm Sophie and welcome to my world. Well, once again you have asked and I am going to give it to you. You've asked me to make a lady's wallet. Now, how does a lady's wallet differ from a man's wallet, you might say? Or, aren't all wallets the same? Well, the way I look at a lady's wallet is it's got a flap that opens and then it has a place for cards, a place for your ID. In this case, I've got a key holder. This is where you can put a key, a place for money. So that's what I kind of think of a lady's wallet. It's just a little bit bigger and has a little bit more space for more stuff. Let me show you what I mean here. This one I've got all of the cards are already lined up here. And there you can see there's my key. And I can put my ID right in here. And I can put money in here. Now, this one here, which I made, this actually has two pockets for money. So you could put money in this one and money in this one. Got your cards here, your ID right there, and it closes up like that. So it keeps everything nice and safe. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how to make one that has two pockets like this, a whole bunch of credit card, ID card holders. It's going to have a place for your actual ID, and it's actually going to have that key as well. So I'm going to show you the big Mongo complex ladies wallet. Here we go. But you don't have to call it a ladies wallet. It's basically a clutch that can hold everything. So for this, of course, we're going to need some duct tape. We're going to need scissors. We're going to need a ruler. It's good to always have a pen. And I'm going to have some packing tape. And the reason I'm going to have packing tape is because I want to make that ID holder. So for my ID holder, I'm going to need some packing tape. Now, for the wallet, you are going to want to make 5 pieces of duct tape fabric. If you don't know how to make duct tape fabric, you want to go to our homepage, our YouTube homepage, and you can see how to make basic duct tape fabric. And this fabric you're going to want to make and cut to 4 by 7. Okay? So you need 5 pieces of these. So to start with, I'm going to start by just making a basic pocket. I'm going to put pink side to pink side here, but I could do pink to blue. It's however you want to do it. In fact, let's do pink outside. So I'm going to go pink to pink, blue to blue, pink on the outside. And what I need to do is seal these edges and make a pocket. So I'm going to take some purple here, 4 inches. I'm going to rip this in half this way. And I'm basically going to seal this side. All I'm going to do is take it, place it right at the top here, and I'm putting it on halfway here. See this? This is half sticky, sticking off there, so that when I flip it over, it seals this together. See? See? Sealed. Okay, so that's sealed there. Now I do it on the other side with this other piece. Once again, go right to the top here, halfway, turn it over, seal it. Now I'm going to get rid of this middle piece here, these little teeny tiny pieces. I'm just going to snip those off. Snip, snip, because I don't need those. And now I need to seal the bottom. And this is going to need to be a 7-inch piece. And again, I'm going to rip this in half because I don't need that much to seal my bottom. I'm just going to seal it by doing it halfway and folding it over this way, halfway. Okay, and there you have it. There's my pink pocket with the blue on the inside. Now, I want to make 2 of these. And I've already made one. I've made them opposite each other, which will be fun. See, this is going to be one side of the wallet. This is going to be the other side. They're almost like a book. They're going to bookend together like this. I'm not going to put them together yet, though. And I'm not going to add the flap yet. What I want to do is create my pockets that are going to go inside first. Now, to make a pocket for my wallet, just like this one, I want to show you, they're all lined up, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to make pieces that are 4 inches wide. And I'm going to use 1 piece of duct tape, like this. So I take 4 inches, and I'm going to need another 4-inch piece. So now I've got these 2 4-inch pieces. What I'm going to do, flip this one over. Now this is really, really important when you're making these little wallet pockets. What you want to do is you want to leave a 1/2 inch of sticky on the bottom. So I'm going to take my piece here, I'm going to lay it on top so that I have exactly a 1/2 inch on the bottom there. Whoop, it's running away. And now when I flip it over, I just fold this sticky part over so that I have sticky on the bottom and the rest of it is just fabric. This is why, because I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it right here in my wallet. The sticky part is going to keep it in place. Now, you'll notice it's a little bit bigger than I need it to be, so I'm just going to trim the sides just a tiny bit. Like that. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this sticky part right on the edge of my wallet. Like that. I'm going to get this out of the way. Now, you can see that this flops this way. Don't worry about that. It's going to change, I promise you. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of pockets and line them up. Now, what's really important here is that you make your pockets ahead of time to make it much, much easier than doing it one pocket at a time. But what's really important here is you're going to need a card. So let me grab a card here. Got my library card. Always have my library card. And I'm going to use my card as a measuring. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I want to put my next pocket about, oh, 1/4 inch up. So see, there's about a 1/4 inch in there. Or actually, let's see. Let me measure, make sure. I'm sorry, it's more like a 1/2 inch. So it's a 1/2 inch. And that way, when I place my card here, there's a tiny bit of the pocket over top. Do you see that? There's a tiny little bit of that over top. That's going to make it easy for me to get my cards out. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. Now I just fold this one down. I've got all my pockets pre-made over here. Once again, I'm going to leave a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch. And there we go. So you can see these are starting to line up. 1, 2. Going to put another one. I like to alternate my pattern here, so that way I can easily see my pockets. Okay, once again, I'm going to go up about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And you know, it depends on how many pockets you want to place in here too. The closer you go, the more pockets you'll get in. Okay, once again. There we go. Now don't worry if they overlap a little bit over here, because I can always cut that later on. Take another one. Now, as you get close to the top, the one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that where your pocket lands, that this is not going to stick out and up. So it's really important that you put your card there, open it up, and it worked out perfectly here. You should be able to stick it right there. Perfect. Okay, now I've got a little extra here. You can see that, but not to worry. I'm just going to come and trim right along the top here. So that's nothing to get worried about. There we go. Trim that away. Okay, now I have to seal these. So what I'm going to do is, remember I had this from earlier, when I sealed that earlier. I'm going to rip it in half again, because this is really just sealing in these pockets. So I'm going to go right along the edge there and seal those pockets in. Okay. And now I want to do the same thing over on the other side. Always make sure that you've got enough room for your credit cards. So again, you can see I don't want too much, just a little teeny bit. Right along that edge. Then I open up my purse here and I can just fold this right in. See that? Now all of my cards will fit right on in here. So we're finished that. We're going to put this off to the side. We're going to save that for later. Okay, now we're going to take that second pocket. Remember we had 2 of these. And now we're going to make our ID holder and a place for our key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my card again, my library card, as my basic size for my measuring template for my window. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little teeny bit bigger, because some IDs are bigger than others. But I'm going to use this to measure. So what I'm going to use is some packing tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my packing tape twice the size of my cards. So I've got 1, 2, and I'll give myself a little bit extra just for safety. Okay. I'm going to take a second piece, and like I do with my duct tape always, I'm going to overlap about 1/2 inch. Like that. Now, what I like to do with my packing tape is when I'm done with it, I like to fold over just a tiny little bit of the end there, because clear packing tape is really hard to find the end once you've sealed it. So now I can find it easily and open it again. Okay, now I'm going to take this, peel it up, and what I'm going to do is just fold this over in half on top of itself. And now I've got a window. Now, I can trim it now. I want to make sure that I leave a little bit on the outsides because I am going to need to adhere this and tape it to my wallet. So I'm going to need to leave about 1/2 inch on either side. I'm going to trim a little bit off the top here because it doesn't need to be that long. Okay, now I'm going to bring this over here and I'm going to adhere this to my latest wallet. Let's use some fancy stuff. To do this, what I'm going to do is measure out my tape. I'm going to actually make this into the little strips that I like so much. This is going to be about 1/2 inch wide. And I'm just going to put it along the bottom here. 1/2 of it is on the clear glass. 1/2 of it is on the lady's wallet. And I'm going to snip right at the corner there. I'm going to come back on each side here. One side here. Again, right on the edge. Snip. Now I can use this little piece if I want to. Conserve my tape. Make another one. Now, the main thing, the most important thing to remember is that as you're coming over here and securing this top one, you want to leave the top flap open. This needs to stay open. So I'm just going to put my tape right here on the top, not on the wallet and the tape. I'm just going to put it on my clear glass part, like this. See, and I can even put my card there to make sure that I don't tape onto it. Ah! Can you realize I missed just a tiniest little bit over there? Hang on one sec. Let me redo that. Just the tiniest little bit it was off. There we go. There, now I've got a place for my ID. So my ID can go right in there. Now I wanted to make a place for a key as well. So let me get a key here to use as my template. Now I don't want my key to stick. That's an important thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure. The one important thing about your key is that you want to make sure that the top sticks out. Because if the top doesn't stick out, you won't be able to pull it out. So I've got it measured there. And I need my key to be able to pop out. Sometimes when you're doing little duct tape things like this, it gets stuck to your fingers. Okay, so I'm going to take the strip here, and I'm going to actually create a place for my key to be, because I don't want it to stick to my key. So let's make sure that that's thick enough for my key. That's perfect. See, that's enough space for my key. If you had a wider key, you would need a wider space, of course. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip this. And I'm going to snip that top. And I'm just going to place that right there. Now, you will remember that the bottom doesn't have any sticky on it. And so what I'm going to do is take a little bit, tiny bit more of this tape. Just seal that bottom. And there we go. And the thing I love about duct tape is you can always rip little teeny tiny pieces, put them on there, and they still look cool. It's pretty forgiving material, duct tape. Okay, snip, snip a little teeny bit off here. Come across the top. Just basically all I'm doing here, you guys, is securing it into place to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. It's like a tiny little pocket. Teeny, teeny, tiny little pocket. And you just need to make sure that this opens at the top. There we go. And see, now my key will slide right in there and stay. So now we got my ID, we got my key, got a place for my money. Now we're going to put these two pieces together. Now, you want to make sure that they are both facing with the money up. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that the money goes up, because if you do it this way, then your money's going to fall out. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that both of them have their mouths opening up. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the two together. I'm going to open them up. And I like to give them a little teeny bit of space, just a tiny bit of space. See how there's kind of like a little alleyway there? Okay, I'm going to measure. And the reason I like to do a little alleyway is so that when it folds, it's not going to squish up on top of itself. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a little alleyway. And all I'm going to do is take my tape, place it right down the center. Okay? Now, you will notice that I did not go over my card area. I didn't go over my card area. I lined it up with my card area to make sure that it didn't go close those cards off. Now I just fold this up here and this here. Okay, and then I can take my next piece, do the same thing right down the back end here. Okay, now the only thing that's left is to add the flap. I'm going to flip that in, secure that, or I could snip it off. Okay, right now you can see I've got my wallet. It opens, it has money on both sides, but what I do need is I need to be able to close it. So I'm going to give myself a flap. And for my flap, I'm going to make this kind of a closure. Where's my closure? I'm getting into this kind of a closure because you don't need any Velcro, it's purely duct tape. So I'm going to teach you how to make this one right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. And the most important thing is this flappy part right here. My sister Frida calls this the Kilroy nose. So see how there, if you gave it eyeballs right here, it looks like Kilroy. So this part here needs to be at least a couple inches long. So you want to make sure it's at least 1 3/4 inches long. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to mark it 1 3/4 inches with my pen. Right there. And I can make this design whatever design I want it to be, so I'm just going to draw on here. I'm going to make it kind of pretty. I'm going to give it a little design element. And drawn that on there. And now I'm just going to cut it. Oh, excuse me, zebra. Okay, there's a zebra on my scissors. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this like this. Cut inside that line, just so you don't end up with a Sharpie pen, unless you like it. You can embellish it with a Sharpie pen if you want to. Okay, there you go. Now you've got the Kilroy nose. And you can decide, do you want pink on your flap, or do you want, it's up to you, whichever you would like. Because you got pink on this side, you got blue on this side. I'm going to go for the pink. Now, very, very important. Put your flap on the side that's going to close this for you. Really, really important. So in this case, I'm going to have to put it on this side right here, because if I put it on this side, look what happens. So if it's on this side, that's not going to do any good. That's going to leave that open. But if I put it on this side, then it'll close everything. So here's what we're going to do. Got a little goodie. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to place this right here, like that. Going to use my tape once again, do the rip-a-dip down the center. Just secure it in place like that. Fold it over, secure it in place over here. On the inside, like that. Up, it got a little crooked. That's okay. I could come back and I can make that look neater. Okay, now it closes, but now I need the flap that's going to go into. So I'm going to use this purple here. Okay, and I'm going to measure. I'm going to fold this onto itself. This is just that little strip. This is about 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to make a nice strip out of this. This is a strip that, got an extra here. This is a strip that has no stickiness. Okay, best way to do this is to come up over here. You want to make sure that this is going to lock in place. So I'm going to put that right there. And put my fingers on either side here as to where it ends. So it ends here and here. See, the Kilroy nose goes right through the middle there. I don't want to go in too tight. So I don't want to go in too tight or the nose won't be able to go in. But one here, and I'm going to use my pink tape for this. Now, make sure that, because I want to, oops, you know what, I don't have my pink tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a zebra stripe. I'm going to embellish a little bit here, guys. So, make a strip. Right like this. On the side. And a strip. Now I'm going to test and make sure, yep, perfect. Right there. Let's come back and fix that up. Okay. Cut this extra bit off here. Okay, now, main thing is I can come back and embellish and make this all look really cool. I'm kind of rushing here because I don't want you to take too much time away from you guys making your own. There you go. And so see, then it slides right in there and will keep your wallet closed. Now you can add more embellishments all over here. So then when you open it up, you've got your money here, you got your heart cards here, you got your ID here, your key here, and more money there. And that's how you make a multi-pocketed, many-faceted ladies' wallet. For more things that are fashionably accessorizing, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.